So today what I want to talk about is tight hamstrings. It seems to be a very common issue with a lot of people. I've had problems with it myself, as have many of my clients. So what I want to show you today is how you can solve this issue. What most people are doing is just stretching the hamstrings. They feel the tightness, they want to relieve that tension, so they stretch. Seems like a good idea, but it's not fixing anything. So we got to look deeper into the problem. So to solve a problem, we first have to understand what's causing it. And if you look at my two beautiful diagrams here, this should help understand a little bit about what's going on. So the diagram closest to me is in ideal alignment or neutral posture. When you have that alignment, then you have muscle balance. So if your joints sit in the right place and they work against gravity in the right way, you will have muscle balance and you won't feel too much tightness in any particular muscle. So what we have is the spine coming down here into the pelvis, which sits in a neutral position. We have the femur bone, which is the thigh bone, the tibia, which is your lower leg or your shin bone, and then you have your rib cage here. The muscles that you're seeing is the rectus abdominis, so your ab muscles that connect from your sternum, your chest, the middle part of your chest, down to your pelvis. Then you have your rectus femoris, or one of your quad muscles. Now that comes from the knee area into the front part, high up on the pelvis. And then your hamstring at the back here. That joins low down on the back part of your pelvis and then into your lower leg. So like I said, these muscles are all balanced in this position here. Now if we go over to this weird looking creature, this is anterior pelvic tilt. So that means that the pelvis is tilting very far forward, causes a lot of arching of the back. Usually what can happen then is that the shoulders come forward or the head can fall forward as well. So when that tilts forward, it pulls the backside up. If the muscle is fixed at the bottom and this side is rising, it's going to create more tension. So I can demonstrate using this cable. So if I'm just pulling on the cable, then it's going to create tension. So if that was my muscle and I felt that tight and I started stretching it even more, it's just going to cause more tension. What I need to do is actually give it some slack. So the way we can give it slack is to reverse that tilt and bring it to more of a posterior tilt. Okay, so how way you can feel that is if you stand up and imagine that you're trying to tuck your tailbone between your legs. That's going to cause a little bit of a posterior pelvic tilt. What that will do then is drop the pelvis back down on the back side, the posterior side, and up on the front anterior side, and give some slack back to the hamstring. So to get to the root of this issue of why that's happening in the first place, we need to see what people are spending most of their time doing. And most people spend a lot of time sitting. So they sit at work all day, then they sit in their car driving around, sit down eating their meals, sit down watching TV, and then maybe curl up when they sleep. So that's causing the hip to be in a flex position. So if you're doing that for most of the time, your nervous system is just learning to be in that position a lot. And that's a shortened position for the rectus femoris here, the quad muscle. So when you stand up, that stays fairly short and keeps this pulled, and that puts the tension on the hamstring. The other part of it then as well is that the pelvis needs to be stable. It needs to be stable to move around. So if the ab muscles here, particularly the lower abs, if they're not quite engaged and not helping out, I should say, with stabilizing the pelvis, then it's left up to the hamstring to do all this work. The hamstring is already being overstretched and over tightened, and now it's having to stay alive and on to balance that pelvis. And this is usually where that feeling of constant tightness comes from, or even soreness for a lot of people when they don't even feel like they're using their hamstrings for squats or something like that. It's just taking so much load or doing so much work that it feels tight all the time. So bringing it back to neutral is going to help a lot. The main thing for that is going to be just adjusting your posture, trying to stand when you can, trying to avoid sitting as much as possible. When you are standing, trying to keep that pelvis tucked under and try to keep a nice long spine so that you're not hunching forward as well. You don't want your rib cage to flare up and out. That will just cause more issues with the low back. You just want to keep the rib cage down, keep the pelvis fairly neutral. Then there are certain exercises that are going to help. Hamstring roll-ins with sliders or a Swiss ball is very good because that means that you can keep your hip open while you contract your hamstring. A problem a lot of people have is that they feel the hamstring tight and they think that it's too strong or it's doing too much work, so they avoid direct work on the hamstring. But if you don't do direct work on the hamstring, then there's no way it's going to be too strong. So what you need to do is start to wake up that hamstring, get it back to work in the right way. That's going to be with the hip open. Also doing some reverse crunches, not the bicep one, the lower ab one. Reverse curls or reverse crunches, and that's going to help to bring some strength and some tone to the lower abs as well. So they're good exercises, but like I said, if you're sitting all day long and then you go do an hour workout, probably going to do like 10 minutes of each of these exercises, it's not going to do much for the posture that you've programmed your nervous system to try and hold. So it's going to be more of a constant effort to keep your posture aligned, keep your pelvis neutral, and keep your spine long and your rib cage down. But the exercises will help a lot as well. So try them out. Hopefully it works. Let me know how it goes. Peace.